Usos. The third fight was always going to determine whether Top Rank was going to hold the belts or not, because Top Rank is not in the business of letting you win belts against their guys and then letting you leave with the belts. So the third fight was always going to be against Lomachenko. And I said, from the start, I said, watch now, Haney's not going to want to fight Lomachenko. He's going to beat Kambosos because those are easy fights. And then he's going to vacate those titles and move up to 140 pounds. If he stays at 135, the plan for Top Rank was going to be for Lomachenko and Haney to fight, and Lomachenko to take the undisputed title from Haney, hold it for maybe a defense or two until Shakur Stevenson was ready to move in and become the next generation star, as he would take out the fading star that would be Lomachenko by that point, and that would have been a pay-per-view blockbuster. And that's how Top Rank, that's the art of the way Top Rank exits one superstar and creates the next superstar, and that's what would have happened. I feel like Haney is going to avoid Lomachenko. I've said that from the start.
Since Devin Haney has become the undisputed champion, there has been a narrative that has been trying to be consistently pushed since he became the undisputed champion. And that is trying to pretend or try to make it seem like Devin Haney is going to be on the mission to duck Vasily Lomachenko. And I find it absolutely hilarious, especially with people like Paulie Malignaggi. In case you guys don't know what Paulie Malignaggi issue, Paulie Malignaggi suffers from BBC envy. Honestly, if you don't know what it looks like, or you thought it was just fictitious and it didn't exist, no, it's actually a real thing. Just look at your screen. You know what I'm saying? That's Paulie all day, but I'm going to get to him in a minute, okay? What's funny to me is everybody's acting like we didn't get in this George Kambosos, Devin Haney situation because a Vasily Lomachenko didn't take the mandatory fight. So if Paulie Malignaggi has been saying from the beginning that Devin Haney is going to duck Vasily Lomachenko, what was Paulie Malignaggi saying when Devin Haney was trying to get the fight with Vasily Lomachenko and they decided to give up a belt and take a franchise belt? Did you hear anything from Paulie? Did Paulie have anything to say? Where was his enthusiasm then? Where was this whole Lomachenko bet not duck Devin Haney crap? You know what I'm saying? No. Okay? Vasily Lomachenko has fought every one of his mandatories. You know the one mandatory that he didn't fight was the one with Devin Haney. And who gives up a belt because somebody challenged you? Who does that? And most importantly, when do we start down talking the undisputed champion for a franchise champion? Let me say that again, because I don't think y'all recognize how asinine it is. When do you start down talking a undisputed champion for a franchise champion? A undisputed champion that went and cleaned up the mess that you guys allowed Vasily Lomachenko to make. If you guys had kept the same energy when Vasily Lomachenko was champion, that same Devin bet not duck Lomachenko, when Lomachenko was in power, if you guys were saying that same thing, then it'll be different. But this is the thing. When Lomachenko was in that position, guess what? You guys came up with a million reasons why you didn't want to see that fight. Don't lie. Don't lie. And then when he becomes undisputed, now all of a sudden he bet not duck Lomachenko when Lomachenko had ample opportunity to prove you guys right. That doesn't make no sense. And to add on top of that, and especially once you hear this, you're going to see how ridiculous it is that what Paulie Malignaggi is saying. You're questioning if the guy who went to somebody else's backyard 2 times on a slave contract deal, who left his promoter to get this fight done, this is the person that you're worried about ducking somebody? Let me say that again. Nobody would have took the deal that Devin Haney took. Nobody would have did that, but he did. So how likely is it this same person that fought a guy in his backyard twice with a shitty ass contract, who tried to slave him out and the whole nine, how do we question that person whether he would duck somebody, especially somebody who he tried to fight before he fought Kambosos? And let's be honest, the only reason why Devin Haney got a shot is because of the tragedy over there in the UK. Paulie Malignaggi wasn't talking about trying to see no George Kambosos bet not duck Devin Haney. We didn't hear no talk like that from Paulie. So I'm just wondering, when do we downplay the undisputed? Because that's what undisputed is. It means it can't be argued. So when do we downplay the undisputed champion for a franchise champion?
And now look what happened in the last week. Bob Arum had announced that the winners of the Haney fight and the winner of Lomachenko fight would fight each other. Guess what? Paulie's right, because Paulie knows his business like the back of his hand. No matter how you feel, guys, I'm sorry, your feelings don't matter, guys. That's not how it works here. Maybe in 2022 feelings matter because they're what they tell you on TV, but in reality, feelings don't matter, okay? It doesn't matter how you feel, okay? That was what was going to happen, and now that's what's going to happen once Lomachenko wins on October 29th. So what happens? Who's going to be right? I predicted from the start Haney would not fight Lomachenko. I would predict it from the start. He would rather choose to vacate the titles because it's better off business-wise for him to leave those titles, remain undefeated, and move up as a vacated, undisputed champion at lightweight and move up to 140 pounds rather than to lose all the belts and move up to 140 pounds with a loss on his record. So no matter what, he's going to duck Lomachenko, just as I said, because it's never convenient to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko has fought them all. He continues to fight top guys. He looks and searches for the most difficult fights. He's not picking and choosing anybody. From the moment he turned pro, this guy was looking to fight top fights, and that's why he's the only male world champion to win world championships in 3 different weight classes.
Now, Paulie, I hate to burst your bubble, but none of that stuff has been true.
For the longest, the boxing world has told you that Loma is the fastest boxer in history to become world champion. Bruce Vane says that's a motherfucking lie, just like his pound-for-pound status. Now roll that beautiful bean footage.
The legend of Sainsak Wangsurin. Sainsak Wangsurin was a legendary Muay Thai champion who set a never-before-seen record by capturing a world title in just his 3rd professional fight. A powerhouse known to fans as the world-collapsing Southpaw, fought against many of the best fighters in the early golden era of Muay Thai, and in 1973, he earned Thailand's most prestigious Muay Thai honor, the Gold Sports Writers Fighter of the Year Award. Just a year later, in 1974, he broke a world record once again, taking the WBC light welterweight title in the shortest time in history, just 3 fights in under 1 year. When modern-day great Vasyl Lomachenko set out to eclipse Sainsak's record, he was instead rewarded in a controversial match, the first loss on his record to Orlando Salido. And while Lomachenko did manage to become a champion, like Sainsak in just 3 fights, it is Sainsak who would do so 11 days faster.
Like Paulie said, it's not about feelings, it's about facts, right? All right, well, there it is. They tried to perpetuate a lie within that. They went from saying he was the fastest champion ever in boxing history. They kept moving the goalposts. Then he's the fastest 3-way champion in history. Now, we already know about the erasing of the boxing record. So quit trying to pretend like anybody with a brain can't see that you're trying to engineer this man to greatness. You're taking what little talent he has, you're over amplifying it, and then claiming that he's better than this and he's better than that, and people need to be afraid of him, and people are running from him, the same people he gave his belt up to. You can never say anybody is ducking anybody when you gave a belt up to the man that challenged you. That doesn't make no sense. But I got something else for Paulie, just to show you how much this is an engineered situation, just to show you how much they want a certain kind of person with a certain skin tone to always be represented in boxing. And if he is not represented or present, they will create it. Okay? Now, we all know Lomachenko came out the gate swinging, so to speak. But then again, when you spend that much time in the amateurs, you're spending that much time in the amateurs for a reason. You should have just went pro. Okay? But when he did go pro, what happened? He lost his 2nd professional fight. A title shot at that. Answer this. Who do you know who gets a title shot and loses, then turns around and fights for another title in Gary Russell Jr.? Where they do that at? That ain't engineered? Where they do that at? How do you get 2 back-to-back title shots? That's what I want to know.
Before getting to
you want Vasily Lomachenko to be the person that set a record that can't be broken by anybody, because Paulie has a problem with black fighters. And the truth is, Paulie just want to be like y'all. Y'all haven't figured it out yet? Look at these pictures. Look at those sunglasses. Look at the way he's dressed. Look at those cornrows. Who is he trying to be like? Huh? Who is he trying to be like? You know what I'm saying? Because he's definitely not trying to be like no Italian that I know of. When you see these cornrows and when you see these chains and when you see this attire and all this hip hop gear, ask yourself, who the hell is Paulie trying to be like? And that's where you can sum all this stuff up right here, because it's unfortunate, but that's really what it boils down to. But how in the hell you gonna try to put on somebody ducking when the man tried to fight the man to become the man, and now that he's became the man, now you saying he ducked the man that didn't want him to be the man? Shut up, Paulie. You not fooling nobody, man.